Hey class, welcome to Abroad Sex Education, where we discuss everything you wish you learned in school. I'm your host and mentor on menstruation, Sin. And today, for part 2, my co-host is still Asa.
Hello.
We're going to go into part 2, where we look into how historical beliefs about menstruation evolved into social norms and systems that still shape stigma, access, and experiences today. This podcast is a sex education resource intended for an adult audience. We'll be having real, inclusive conversations about sexuality, pleasure, relationships, gender, identity, and more. Some topics may be considered explicit or sensitive, especially in this lesson, where we'll discuss menstruation, medical misogyny, period pain, and period poverty. Please take care while listening. Our goal is to break the stigma and provide the kind of sex education many of us never got. We're learning too, and we're bringing what we learned straight to the classroom so we can all grow together. You deserve to know what this is about, so you can make an informed choice to listen. Or not. That's what consent looks like, even here. All right, are you ready to go into history and geography?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to go into the historical beliefs about menstruation and how they've evolved into social norms and systems that shape the stigma, access, and experience people with uteruses have today. So I wanted to do this subject because I was like, how did people exist with periods before? I am very lucky to live in a time period and in a location where I do have access to clean water, soap, and menstrual products to be able to have a healthy menstrual hygiene. But that's not a case across the board. But one of the reasons was why in the past, before hormones were discovered, people could not understand why half the population is just bleeding. Like, why are people just bleeding out of nowhere once a month? So there was like limited biological understanding, but it's blood and people are afraid of blood. Blood is something that's on the inside. And when it's just coming out on the outside,
Right.
people associate blood with pain, which is, I mean, there's pain.
Yeah,
There's pain
right.
there. But when people lack the knowledge, because obviously there wasn't the tools to be able to do research and things like that, people will obviously create symbols of what periods are. Blood was seen before as either powerful, sacred, or threatening, depending on each culture. Some cultures believe that menstruation was tied to the moon because, you know, there's the different phases of the moon and then the phases of the period. It's like a monthly cycle. It is obviously tied towards time. But the Cherokee tribe believed that menstrual blood was a source of feminine strength and believed it had the power to destroy enemies. But in ancient Rome, there was a guy, Pliny the Elder. He was a Roman author, naturalist, scientist during the Roman Empire. And he was like all over the place because he believed that menstrual blood could spoil crops and dull metal. But he also thought that menstrual blood could scare away hailstorms, whirlwinds, and lightning.
Okay.
He thought that if a woman stripped naked when she's menstruating and walks around a field, caterpillars, worms, and beetles would like fall off the crops. So,
Nice. So there's like some mysticism,
yeah,
magic with this. Yeah. Okay.
And then if you are watching the presentation on this slide, the picture that is there is some art from a indigenous tribe in West Australia drew of menstruating people.
Yeah. Super interesting.
But most of the menstrual taboo centers around being unclean. The taboo is it's a dirty thing because blood is coming out. And religion obviously is going to play a part because religion guides a lot of people's beliefs in society. And so different religions believe different things when it comes to menstruation. Many religious traditions had believed in purity. So because the blood was seen as unclean, some cultures associated women as not being clean when they were on their period. Because of this, there would be some restrictions for women to be able to do things while they were on their period. Some cultures did consider it sacred, but there are examples of some religions that some parts of some regions believed it was sacred, while some parts of other regions thought it was taboo. So some examples in Hinduism, it varies wildly, but often it was considered ritually impure, and so they would restrict women from the temples and from practicing certain traditions in their religion. For Judaism, there was a concept of nida. It refers to a woman in menstruation, and during this time, sexual intercourse would be prohibited for married couples. And then they would need to participate in ritual immersion like a mikveh, which marked the end of the menstrual cycle. So it's essentially like a cleansing. In 2025, the International Israelite Board of Rabbis voted to allow women to become rabbis, but it ruled that women rabbis are considered impure during menstruation, and other rabbis would have to do their duties during that time. So that's just more recently too.
Interesting.
In people who follow the Islamic religion, menstruation is described as a state of impurity in the Quran, and menstruating women are not recommended to pray or fast during this time. And you make up your fast later, but the intercourse is also prohibited for married couples, and to be able to resume prayer, you have to do a ritual bath. Oh, and you may attend the mosque in some, but you're not allowed to perform prayer if you're menstruating. So Christianity has had views that have evolved over time. So they had previously been restrictive, but I think because Christianity is a much larger religion, they don't restrict menstruating women to the extent that they have previously. Some more orthodox traditions discourage communion during menstruation. Communion is when you eat the bread and drink the wine, which is the body and the blood of Christ.
Yeah, super interesting that like, because it's not like these women chose to be menstruating, right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting that is labeled as, oh, well, during this phase, you are unclean. You're not allowed to be as religiously involved or active or whatever else.
Yeah.
If that was important to you to be religious, then that's an interesting kind of like, well, you can't do these. You're restricted to do this sort of action during this period.
Yeah. Buddhism tends to view it as sacred, but there have been some cultural parts like medieval Japan and Sri Lankan Buddhism that are more strict about it, and they restrict women to come into the temple when they're menstruating. So another example of varying depending on the region. And then for people who practice Sikhism, menstruation is actually not considered impure. There's no restrictions on worship, and they explicitly reject the negativity that comes because Sikhs teach more equality and critique like the impure beliefs. They're more like open about it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But one thing we should really talk about is period poverty. So period poverty.
I've not heard this term before.
You've never heard about period poverty? So period poverty is a global public health crisis of inadequate menstrual products, education, and sanitation practices. In 2024, the World Health Organization released a global report revealing the major gaps in menstrual health and hygiene. Some of the key points were that there was a lack of education worldwide, and only about 2 of 5 schools provide menstrual health education. So only about like 39% of schools. This is global, around the world. Less than 1 in 3 schools have bins for menstrual waste in girls' toilets. and it drops to 1 in 5 in the least developed countries. 1 in 10 for schools in sub-Saharan Africa. And menstrual products are not readily available, and there's limited access to clean water and soap for a lot of people to be able to even maintain the cleanliness. And there's a lack of access for clean bathrooms or designated changing spaces.
Right.
Trans people, non-binary people, and intersex people who have uteruses lack access of spaces where they can change. On a study done on menstruation management for queer individuals, 66% of respondents who used men's bathroom felt unsafe in changing menstrual products, and especially because they don't carry menstrual products in men's bathrooms.
Yeah.
There's also this thing called the pink tax, which is just essentially
I've heard that term. Like, my understanding of that is like, well, why do women have to buy menstrual products to begin with, but men don't have to purchase that at all, right? So you're constantly shelling out money for, purchasing tampons or whatever other things that you have to do.
So the pink tax specifically is when you see the same product, so it could be like razors, when it's marketed towards men and it's marketed towards women, women's products of the same exact thing are priced higher. They're always priced higher, usually between like for example, one example I saw online was like a razor for men, just general razors were like $4.86 or whatever, but for women it's $5.39, and they're pink, and so it's like any sort of products that are marketed towards women are usually at like a higher price point. But specifically, some states have a luxury tax on menstrual products because they are treated as non-essential items in certain states. So they still impose an additional sales tax on them. But then this is again something only, it's something that's technically within the pink tax, because again, these are, like you mentioned, products that people with uteruses pay for, but they're being taxed more. So imagine making 80 cents to $1, and then
also
on
have
top
to
of
pay
it,
extra
yeah,
for these products that you probably have to use, to be honest.
Yes.
It's not a luxury.
Then that's honestly why, like, personally, I do not like to use disposable products. I like to use menstrual cups. And that's one of the recommendations for preventing period poverty is obviously access to education, but also there are some nonprofit organizations that I've heard of where it's like they try to emphasize providing reusable products for people versus just like tampons and pads.
Right. Yeah, I see.
So in 2026, these states still impose a sales tax on menstrual products. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, and the tax ranges from 4 to 7%.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're taxed because they're either classified as non-medical or non-necessities. But there have been a few states that have repealed this tax, so that's good too. It's not just like third world countries that experience period poverty, because even in like America today, it's one of the few things that you're kind of taught in school, like periods and menstruation,
Right.
but there's still a lack of like detailed information about it. And say, for example, there are some people who their period poverty is like they don't have access to menstrual products or like the ability to have a clean space for them. And because they don't have access to clean space or the products, it can cause a lot more health issues because of the unsanitary health practices. So it can just be detrimental to your overall health. Like some cultures, they'll use a rag.
Which may have who knows what on it before you clean it. Yeah.
Public policies around the world have shifted Some countries have menstrual leave policies.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Some of those countries include Spain. It's the first European country to offer paid state-supported menstrual leave. So you have up to 3 to 5 days, but you need a doctor's note. And this was as of 2023.
5 days per year?
Per month. 3 to
Wow,
5 days
that's
per month.
awesome.
But you need a doctor's note.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like if you had like really bad
And
menstrual phases or something, or
it's covered by their state's social security, but it's not often utilized because it just got implemented in 2023. But there's also just a fear of like if you use it, you'll
get flagged as
yeah,
somebody
like
who uses this service for no reason.
yeah, and it'd be like a stigma. It's like the same stigma where like, oh, we don't want to hire pregnant women because if they can get pregnant, they will leave. And so it's like it's women don't tend to like to use it because they think it could be used against them for future opportunities.
Right.
So there's like a low utilization rate for those. In Indonesia, they provide 2 days of paid leave per month since 2003.
Wow.
Taiwan allows 3 days of menstrual related leave a year, but they also have a standard like 30 days sick leave. Vietnam, you either have the option of a 30-minute break each day during your period or 3 days of leave per month. And then Korea and Japan also have menstrual leave, but they have a very low utilization rate because of the stigma in the workplace, and also it's unpaid. Another public policy was Scotland more recently made period products free nationwide in public spaces.
Way to go, Scotland.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So they implemented the Period Products Free Provision Act, and they passed that in 2020, and it was implemented in 2022. They made it so they had to provide sanitary products to anyone in free public spaces, so in schools, in colleges, universities, and
No
like
kidding.
public buildings. They also have a mobile app called Pick Up My Period, which was developed to help users find the nearest location of where they could find the menstrual products. However, the University of Edinburgh had some budgetary cuts. They reduced the amount of period products they had. So in 2025, they got a lot of flack for it because they cut the amount of menstrual products they had available
yeah.
because of these cuts. In the US, some states require free products in all schools. I'm pretty sure I could probably have gotten free products in school. I just remember always
Probably would have had to ask for it.
well, yeah, you had to like go to the nurse or whatever. But also the free products that you get are itchy and uncomfortable. Like just imagine
like they're not very good quality, kind of.
it's always just the really like
cheapest tampon.
The
not even
itchiest tampon or like the thickest pad you've ever had in your life that just rubs up against your already sensitive skin and just itches the crap out of you.
Yeah.
It's never like the pad that's out there now that's actually like really super absorbent and like really flat. Yeah, they're just so itchy. I think it's just me because of the sensitivity feeling of just like you're already uncomfortable and then you got this shit like scratching against your vulva.
Right.
It's just some itchy ass menstrual product.
Doesn't make you really desire to reach out and get that. But I guess if that's the only option that you have.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It should be free. I'm not saying it should be free. I'm glad. I'm just saying that maybe we should just make them more comfortable across the board.
Yeah, right.
So the cheapest way possible, just so you can have them.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. And that was it for history and geography. I know it was kind of short, but it's because
it's still super interesting though to see like how other countries have. I mean, the menstrual leave is really surprising to me. Like I had never heard of that. That's really amazing. That I mean, it kind of sucks that there's like such a stigma with it that there hasn't been a whole lot of people engaging with it. But
I've only ever seen one company that was like a female run company that offered menstrual leave.
Yeah, here in the U.S.
In the U.S., yeah.
Yeah.
All right, pop quiz.
Okay, let's go.
So we're gonna just do a true or false. It's either true or false, and it's just gonna be quite just general questions about periods, and you can tell
Hmm.
me if you think they're true or false.
All right, I'm ready.
True or false? You can't get pregnant while you're on your period.
You can't get pregnant on your period. Seems like it would be unlikely, but I don't think it would be impossible. So I would say, wait, hang on, let me flip the negation here. I think it's false.
False? That's
Yeah,
correct. So while you're less likely to get pregnant, it's still possible because sperm can live in uterus for up to 5 days, and everyone's cycle varies.
that's what I was thinking. Was like, I don't think it's possible. Like, even if it was on like you're the last day on your period. So let's say that you're, 7 days or whatever, or 14, or however long it might be for you. It could still be, you could still get pregnant if it happens to the timing be that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, next one. It is normal for period blood to be brown at the beginning or end.
I would say, I think you said this one, but I've already forgotten, to be honest with you. I'm going to say true because I do think it would make sense if it was darker. So, yes, I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, true. So, brown blood is older blood that has oxidized. It's common and it's normal.
Yeah. Hmm. Right.
Severe period pain is just something you have to live with.
Uh, I mean, I think you should see the doctor about it if it's severe pain. So I don't think it's something you should just deal with. So I'm going to say false.
You're right. Mild to moderate cramping is common, but severe pain that disrupts your life may indicate a condition like endometriosis.
Right.
So definitely go to a doctor, and especially one that is willing and open to discuss this
Is that
possibility.
That's a good question. Like, do you feel like you have the ability to talk with your medical professionals, at least in your past experience, about the symptoms that you do have from your menstrual cycle? Or has it been kind of
It's
all
more of
across the
a
board?
bring it up if you feel it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're asking you it in detail, play by play, unless you're the one being like, my period pain is extreme,
Mm-hmm.
debilitating for several days. I also just recently learned about what endometriosis and PCOS conditions because, like, again, there's a lot of medical misogyny out there where women's health issues weren't being studied.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, now we're starting to get a lot of more information about it, but it's still so few and far between.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. Next. For the first few years after someone starts their period, the cycles may be irregular.
That seems like it makes sense to me. I don't remember us talking about that, but I would just guess true for that.
Yes, that is true. So it can take up to 1 to 2 years for cycles to become more predictable
Mm-hmm.
for someone experiencing their period. Menstruating people should avoid swimming.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, I guess true. I don't know why necessarily. I guess I don't know that it would affect you as an individual though, right? Like because I have seen like, well, have I seen? I'm curious. I don't know the answer. What's the intended answer for this one?
False. Swimming is safe. Many people just use either menstrual cups or tampons for comfort. I remember when I was younger, they'd be like, you can't go swimming in the ocean when you're on your period because you're going to attract sharks.
Oh, is that okay? I see. Huh. I've never heard that, but like, obviously, I haven't been menstruating, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the last one, the menstrual cycle is only about reproduction.
I don't think that's true because there's also, I mean, it relates to the creation of and the shedding of your uterine lining. So that part of it is production related, but it's also like tied to your hormones and kind of like your mental day to day too. So I don't really think it's just purely about whether or not you want to have kids or not.
Correct. It's false. The cycle is a complex hormone rhythm that affects energy, mood, and overall health.
Right. Neat. Yeah. I definitely miss a few, but I think they were very good questions.
Hmm. All right. These are just some tips for taking care of yourself while you're menstruating. For people with uteruses, if you have any cramps, they say light walking or gentle movement like yoga helps, and also a heating pad. I like to get those little plushies. I like the when people have those like plushies that you put in the microwave that you can like hold on your stomach.
Oh, I've never seen those.
Those are a really
Mm.
good gift for a person. It's like a good Secret Santa gift, but it's also just a good
Mm.
gift to get someone who's experiences
Hmm.
cramps. But it's essentially like a little plushie. I used to have one, but I don't have one anymore. But it's a little plushie, and it's usually like a bear or like whatever plushie. And sometimes you can take out the like heating element part,
Mm-hmm.
like of the plushie, then put it back in there. Then other times it's just like some people just have like the pad that you
Mm-hmm.
just put in the microwave that have like the beads.
Yeah.
But then yeah, I like the plushie one because it's just usually like a cute little like polar bear or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put it in there and then you like hold it.
So it's a plushie that holds like some kind of heated.
A heating pad.
Got it. I see.
Yeah, or is the heating pad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Light movement helps improve the circulation and can help ease discomfort. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
It's just general good rule of thumb all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but especially during your period. Rest when your body asks for it, so it's okay to take naps. Track your patterns to understand your cycle. I do think there's a good benefit of tracking your period. There's this app called like Natural Cycles, and they either use like they have like a ring where you can connect it to your phone, and it's like a monthly
Subscription.
subscription, and it checks your body temperature and it tells you when you're ovulating. This is
Mm.
when you're like luteal. I haven't used it, but it's something that I've seen as like an alternative
Mm.
method to keeping track of your cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to the realization like mm, extended fasting or intermittent fasting has helped me regulate my hormones a lot.
Mm.
And so like I tend to have a more like consistent cycle when I'm fasting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to like track it and know. I put it on my actual calendar of like this is when I anticipate my follicular phase. It does change, so like you have to adjust it as needed.
Yeah. I do think you're probably the person that I've met who has the best gauge on their cycle. Because I've definitely met people who have had uteruses who are not paying attention to it
Mm-hmm.
at all, or at least are not expressing that to me as a friend or whatever. Like,
Right.
which not expecting that from everybody, but my impression was that people aren't tracking it. So I'd be curious to see, like, from you, like, do you feel like it's really common for people to like? Obviously, people know like when you're bleeding, like you know what
Yeah.
part of the cycle you're in.
That's the only one most people with uterus will track. It's more of like, when is my period coming?
Right.
I don't know too many people that know the different phases or like, unless they're like actively trying to get pregnant. I feel like that's usually the period of time that like most,
Because then you're paying really attention into the ovulatory.
yeah, that's when people seem to like learn more about it.
Mm-hmm.
I like to know like what to expect. And since I am like fully aware that it's a hormonal shift, like I want to be conscious of like, oh, like luteal's coming through. Like I know I'm gonna need
Mm-hmm.
to. I can't, especially because I fast. It helps me plan when to like give myself a little bit more
Yeah.
grace with fasting
Right.
versus not fasting.
It genuinely seems to me like because of at least what I've experienced as someone who doesn't go through this, but like seeing it happen in friends or, you know, other people, like it seems like there's a genuine difference in your hormone levels enough your body responds to things significantly different at different times of the cycle. And so to me, it makes sense to kind of know a little bit more about it
Mm-hmm.
because it seems to me like there is a benefit of like understanding like, oh, well, I know this week I'm going to be super gung ho and like at it. Like I want to know I can like accomplish a lot because I feel much more energetic and like
Right.
productive. and then it's all gonna go to hell like 2 weeks later, you know? Like I genuinely see that as helpful. But
Yeah, I think that's especially why I track it now. When I was younger, I wouldn't track it because I feel like my hormones were all over the place, and being on birth control, like you could never know.
right.
I would get my period maybe like every 3, 4 months if I was on specific birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made it difficult to even like track a period to begin with. So you're just more focused of like, okay, well, when did my last period happen?
Yeah.
And you're just like more focused on that. Don't feel ashamed about having a period. It's a period. It's a natural cycle your body is experiencing. And if you have any severe pain or heavy bleeding, definitely seek medical advice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have tips for how to support your partner during the menstrual cycle. What works for us is I'm very upfront about knowing what my menstrual cycle is, and we have a calendar, and I'll just put on the calendar.
I don't think I've ever seen any kind of outward friend or partner talking about the menstrual cycle except for the actual period itself. Like, I feel like that's usually what people talk about and
Yeah.
say.
I think another thing that helps is, just in that time period, ask how you can help them. I'll tell you, like, can you rub my back? Or, like, don't touch me, leave me alone. Or, like, I need Korean barbecue today, which is like a very real example.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept telling me no at first. And then I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm going to be pissed the rest of the week because I'm luteal and I'm not getting Korean barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
You can say no. I'm fully understanding. But I will be an irritable ass bitch about it. I think that when I was younger too, I knew my period was coming when I would be so irritated because I would
Mm.
get irritated about like the smallest, littlest thing. Like it could be my mom calling me. I'd be like, "What?" And I would just get mad at the fact that that's how they're
Yeah.
talking to me, even though this is just like any other time. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Another thing you could do if your partner has a uterus is, maybe they just want comfort. You don't have to solve all of their problems. Maybe they just need to tell you they're uncomfortable and that they just want to crawl in a fetal position.
Mm-hmm.
But just ask. I think a good rule of thumb is if someone, this is just a good communication thing across the board with your partner. Or someone is telling you a story, and if you're someone that tends to want to solve problems, because I'm like that too, is like, do you want my advice or do you just want me to listen? And sometimes if they just want you to listen, that's fine. Then you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to. All you just got to do is like, oh my god, I'm sorry, that sucks, or I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, just to like react. But sometimes if they want a solution, like I'm like over here, like I'm cramping,
Yeah.
and then you be like, oh, do you need medicine or anything like that? Like that's also helpful.
Right.
And then be flexible with plans if needed. Because again, if at any point you're just in pain, it can make sense if you want to cancel. Don't minimize or joke about symptoms. Don't make fun of me. Our rules is you're not allowed to make fun of me during luteal phase because I get pissed.
To caveat, this is not me making fun of you because you have symptoms, and more just like the typical making fun. I feel like I tend to carry over when you're luteal, and that is not okay. And that's what I'm learning.
Yeah, I get really pissed
Yeah. Yeah.
about just joking around stuff.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I just want chocolate.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks for listening.
Yay. Thanks for going into the deep dive. I definitely learned a lot. I think the simulator was super cool. I think feeling that was very interesting. It was also neat to hear about like other cultures and like how menstruation is viewed and kind of like socially treated in different contexts. Like I didn't really actually know anything about the religious part of it, about like, people who treat it as an unclean sort of a period where you can't even practice religion the same way. That's really interesting. Yeah, very interesting topic. So looking forward to next week if you talk more about the products.
Yeah, next week we're going to be discussing period products. And that one's going to be interesting too. That's the Belt class. Have any questions about human sexuality? Submit them to our anonymous form linked in the show notes. Your homework? Share this episode with a friend, because the best way to destigmatize sex is to talk about it. And if you're ready for extra credit, grab our free Essential Sex Conversations workbook by signing up for our newsletter. Thanks for joining us for this lesson. Class dismissed.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.